Welcome to 305 Radio. This is Struck.
And this is Dre Mav.
Welcome to the show. Today we have special guest and artist, DISEM 305.
Thank you for having me.
DISEM, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. I know that I see your work everywhere, throughout the whole city, no matter what part of the city I go to.
We're trying, man. We're working out here.
I mean, shoot, man, you stay busy, bro.
Putting in work.
I mean, tell me a little bit about yourself, being an artist, where you're from, where you're going, where you've been.
So I'm as Miami as Miami could get. You know, I rep the city to the fullest. The city made me, so you know it's only right that I give back to it. My background, my mother's Colombian, my dad's Italian Panamanian.
Okay.
So
you got a mix there.
Yeah, Panama.
Yeah, man, I love Panama. I got Panama Viejo Panama Viejo tattooed on me, man.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Man, I love Panama Viejo.
Panama Viejo's dope,
people
man.
People that don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I got like, I think in a past life I was a pirate. So yeah, the whole like background story of Panama Viejo is ill. How like Morgan came out there, destroyed the whole city, and that's the only tower that's still standing. The church is the only tower that's still standing. Like it's dope.
And for those that don't know, Panama Viejo looks like it looks like the ruins of a village in a way. And there's like you said, there's a tower.
Yeah.
But I mean old school like military. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, that building that's standing, it's kind of like built. I think, I don't know if it's coral or what it's built out of. So the whole thing is Captain Morgan. Man, it's a gangster story. So from my understanding, Captain Morgan went with like a bunch of people, right, to rob the city, and it was like it was made out like just an old ass city. He showed up with like mad pirates, started hitting like with cannons, destroyed the whole city. Came in, robbed all the gold of the city. And then from what I've heard, I don't know if it's an urban legend or whatever, you know, they celebrated by getting like super fucked up. Like he like hooked everybody up with rum. Like they took the city.
Gave everybody a couple of little coins,
he got,
you know.
He got everybody, like his whole crew, he got them all like trashed, you know. And then with his like real homies, like once everybody was like tore up, they like left everybody behind in the city, and they just dipped with all the gold. So
Hope y'all had a good time last night. We out.
It was terrible, man, but it's a dope story.
Good story.
That is savage.
Captain
Captain Morgan was like, I got this recipe for rum. Give it to them.
Yeah.
We're going to get
I don't think he was
plastered.
too worried about being a good human.
At all, no, man.
Not at all.
At all.
He was totally just like, who we ransacked the city. Now let's ride out.
Yeah. Let's leave like all the people that helped him. Like he left them behind. He just left with like his close homies and all the gold.
No man left behind, guys.
No one left behind, guys.
Terrible.
Come on. That is crazy, man. And in Panama. So art. How'd you get into art?
So yeah, like I was saying, man, like I was born into an art university. My mother's an artist. She met my father at so my uncle owns an art university in Panama. My mother was attending that school. She ran into my father there. They met there, had me. So I was pretty much born into an art school. And yeah, my family's just filled up with artists. So I've been around art my whole life.
Did they impose that on you in any kind of way, or did you just kind of pick it up because you were surrounded by it?
I was just gravitated towards it. You know, I've been, if anything, it might have been, my mom's always like motivated, like creativeness, and she supported anything I do or want to do. But once I was getting out of high school, it was the opposite. I was like, I want to study art. She was like, please don't study art. Go into graphic design. Like, yo, you know.
The irony in that, huh?
Yeah, she was
Right?
like,
So weird.
well, I mean, everybody has a stigma of like the struggling artist, you know, like and I wouldn't, you know, I mean, I make a living out of art. I do well. And I do, like, to me, wealth isn't like a monetary thing. It's to enjoy what you do, you know?
Absolutely.
So, and I would say I'm the opposite of a struggling artist, you know? Like, I make a living out of it. I enjoy my life. I know I'm happier than a lot of people that make way more money than I do. I have a better quality of life, you know?
Gotcha.
You're doing it.
So,
of course.
chilling.
Do
Yeah.
it.
And then, so as childhood, I always, you know, drew around, painted. Like, whenever I got to pick my electives, it was always art subjects. And around 4th, 5th grade, I had an older cousin who did graffiti. and I kind of like looked up to him at the time. And man, once I saw like what they were doing in the street, you know, the whole like rebellious aspect of it, you know, like
vandalism.
Vandalism, I like it.
Yo, man, yeah, 100%. I'm not like motivating anybody to go and do it. You know what I'm saying? But yo,
disclaimer: this is not. This is not. We're not
don't try this at home.
Yeah.
Don't try this at home, guys. Try it in the streets.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. My mom. You know how like kids always like write on the walls is like when they're little.
Yeah.
And I've always heard of like people like telling like getting mad at the kids or whatever. The first time I wrote on a wall in my house, I must have been like 1 or 2 years old. My mom was like super proud. She was like, "Oh, my son's an artist." Like,
and all he did was like scribble on the wall.
So that, who knows, man? Maybe that like in my subconscious that motivated me to keep going with the writing on walls.
My mom loved it. I'm gonna keep writing on walls.
Yeah. Mom, this is all your fault.
Yeah. You know, and she was super supportive, man. Like once I started like doing graffiti, like she would take me to like buy paint and all this stuff. And then once I started getting in like trouble for it, she was like, "Nah, you can't." Like, I wasn't for a long time. I wasn't allowed to have like spray paint in the house or none of that. So I'd have to like hide it in like girlfriends' houses and like you know like to keep the paint. But yeah, man.
So you have accomplices.
Yeah,
you want to disclose those names now?
No,
Or?
we're not bringing up.
The door busts open. Graffiti police. That's dope, man. So, where did the name DISEM come from?
So my younger years, I was a little like, I would say arrogant, and
he was dissing him, man.
So my first tag,
I ain't having it.
My first tag was disco.
Okay.
So I started painting with disco. Like I started painting with disco, doing kind of like a lot of like street work. And then I realized that like through the internet and a little bit of research, there's like a couple like older like old school guys that had the same tag. So I had respect for them, like, and also because like I outgrew the name, I like started looking for other tags that I liked. In my younger years, I would do some graffiti. We got like stupid rules, like where you could go over certain things with like certain things, so like if you have a tag, you could go over it with a throw up. If you have a throw up, you go over that like with a piece. So
but if not, it's disrespectful.
Technically it's not, it's by the rules, but
let's get technical here. Like, how do you get away with these rules without being
consequences? That all depends on who you break the rules with.
So you just gotta know who you playing with.
Yeah. So in my younger years, I was like I said, man, I was kind of arrogant, a bit of like a hothead. So I was going over certain people, but by the rules. So like I was going over like a lot of like older guys, and I got called out on it a couple of times, and I was just like, well, yo, like I'm way younger than you guys. Y'all made the rules. I'm following your rules. Like if you don't want to get gone over, do something nicer on the spot. Just arrogant as fuck, So then the DISEM came, because you're kind of like dissing them, but like, and it was also like I like the way that like letters fit together,
Okay.
So that's where that came from.
So it was more of a visual aesthetic as well as dissing them.
Kind of, yeah. We're not
nice.
dissing nobody no more, man. We're trying to move right.
So you're not like low key having these rivalries.
No, I don't got no artists. Man. I've learned in life that like to progress, like if you let anything bother you or move you in a negative direction, it just segues you from like moving forward. So like, if you have any kind of like dispute or things that like don't move you forward, they're just taking you away from moving forward. So man, I don't care for problems. I don't deal with negativity. Like I just move forward, man.
I'm with you. I agree 100%. 100%.
Even though you move forward, let's go back a little bit and talk about your past projects and just your beginnings in art and what really got you on the scene here in Miami.
Oh, the scene, I would say graffiti. Like I like to think that I'm a balanced writer, as like writers like we call like graffiti guys that do graffitis are like writers. So I take pride in that and just like being balanced. So I put in a lot of like street work, when I was younger, but I was trying to like I also painted murals, did pieces, like characters. Like I tried to be well-rounded in the game. To me, that's important. Like I don't have to be the best at anything as long as I'm like well-rounded.
Got it.
So yeah, what put me on. I think was graffiti. The amount of like we did a lot of like wild shit illegally, you know, like and then but at the same time while we were doing like wild shit illegally, we were putting some like nice walls together.
Do you remember what your first professional commissioned piece was?
Man, first professional commissioned piece. I honestly don't remember.
Wow.
I don't remember.
That's a good problem to have. Imagine being that busy. You're like, bro, they're all melting together.
Yeah, I don't remember. No, because I've been painting for a long time. So as far as like a commissioned piece, it could have been like, it didn't necessarily have to be a wall. It could have been like a canvas or something.
Got it.
So I don't, no clue.
Would it be fair to say that every commission piece kept you motivated?
No, the motivation is not the money.
Okay.
Like money doesn't motivate. You got me. If money motivated, like I told you, a lot of like the project, like I paint for fun. Like I just, you know, and that's part of like what I was talking about, like wealth. You know, like I do what I love. So like, money's not the motivation. Money's not the driving factor. Money's is a beautiful thing that comes along with what I enjoy. You know,
it's one of the perks.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. And so, if you go throughout the city, from Wynwood to different parts, we'll run into a DISEM piece. So, of those pieces, what was the one piece that got the ball rolling for you with these murals? In the sense of the bigger commission pieces.
I would say the UD, not the UD, no, the D Wade piece. You know, I did that was in Little Havana. Shout out to my dog Primo. He pretty much gave me like full creative freedom, man. I remember the day he got that D Wade. I had been wanting to do like a D Wade tribute, and the day that he got announced, he got traded back to Miami from Cleveland. I had already spoken to him about painting the wall, and we went watched the game, and like right after his first game out here, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go start that wall," and that one kind of got like the ball rolling with I think like bigger projects and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that was a dope piece.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And I know that you've done more work with D Wade as a focus. Like you recently had a painting you were doing a coat on.
Yeah. So that was a commissioned piece by his people. He had a book release. Man, my memory sucks, and my ADDness has me all over the place. So he had a book release last year, I believe it was in October. And they commissioned me to like do a live painting thing. I don't really like doing like the live paint. It's weird, man. It like even like
that pressure of people like watching.
No, it's just I take my time. So it's like how quick can I execute like and I have high standards to my work. Like I'm not gonna be able to start and finish a piece while like I have all these people around me and like I said earlier, I don't like attention. So it gets weird, you know. Even like in Wynwood now, like shout out to everybody that does like the mural tours or whatever. But like sometimes I feel like I'm an animal in a safari, like you know, like you're there painting and like people are like driving by in little cars taking pictures of you and shit.
And you got
like,
someone like, oh, here's DISEM.
Yeah. It's like, yo, what am I supposed to turn around and like wave? Like, what do you do, bro? You know,
don't throw food at them. Don't throw food at them, guys.
Yeah, it's like, yo, don't feed the animals. Like, yo, it's mad weird. But and it's appreciated because these are people that are like bringing it like, and I hate using the word exposure, but they're bringing attention to like our work, you know. So it's dope. But again, like I don't like attention, so like it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So when they commissioned me to do this D Wade piece, it was like they wanted me to do a live painting, and I was like, look, like there's no way I'm gonna execute something for D Wade that like is gonna be that dope in that short time period. So I'll bring something presentable already. I'll work on it while we're there, and then but I want to give him something dope. So like, let me take my time with it after, and then like that's where that piece came from.
It was really dope.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That was actually a collaboration with my mother. So me and my mother worked on that piece together.
Wow,
that's special.
That is really special, man. And I know that Wade, he posted. He was like, "Yo, this guy's talented, bro."
Yeah, and that's appreciated, man. Because like again, like mad admiration towards him, man, as a professional, as a man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like. A lot of people thought that like when I painted that it was about like painting an athlete, you know, like just like it's D Wade, like Wade County, whatever. Like it wasn't about that, man. It was about like again like the struggle that guy's been through, like what he's done for the city, like you know what he does for like charity, the work he's put in, like
how he is with his family. I mean,
absolutely.
everything.
And even like I don't think he was ever the highest paid athlete for the Heat. Like again, like don't like I might be wrong on that statement.
Well, no, they all took a pay cut to get LeBron out here.
Right. Exactly.
You know, so money is definitely not his motivation the same way.
So, you know, that's part of like why that piece was done, man. Because like you don't like, and I tell my homeboys all the time, like I don't care to be like no star player and none of that shit. Like I'm down to like be a supportive role in like anybody's thing. Because like I don't care for shine, I just care for progress. You feel me? Like, so
absolutely, man. That's I mean, and sticking to the Heat, right? Tell me about the Udonis Haslem piece.
George loves that one.
Yo, I love that, man. No, and you know, and as we go through this interview, I know you're gonna end up mentioning, like I said before, because we just did the 101.1 FM interview with DISEM, right, which is a live interview on the radio with Dre Mav, and you know we were able to cut out there and bring it in and start doing our podcast. So, I mean, that story is really dope. Tell us again about it, man.
So when that was like I said, like money's not the motive, and I do this shit for fun, man. Like I really enjoy what I do. So that project wasn't like a commission piece. That was just me wanting to like do it to pay homage to someone that same as D Wade has put in work, but the difference with him is that he's Miami made, you know, like he's from the city, like lives in the city, been about the city. So I just wanted to pay respects to Haslam. Man, that was a crazy piece. So I started that shit right before the pandemic. I'm still like mad self-conscious with the cursing. Like,
Real radio will do that.
Trying to like filter myself, man. So
you're good.
I started that piece right before the pandemic, and when I started it, I think like a day or two into it, we had like everything got shut down. You know, and I was like the whole like isolation, or what's the word?
Isolation.
Not isolation. It was the quarantine thing.
Quarantine.
Yeah,
There you go.
Quarantine.
Yeah. Man.
We already forgot about that.
I mean, we buried Miami.
We
what did we do with quarantine, bro? Everyone was still outside.
Were we in quarantine?
We were indoors for like a week.
Yeah. No, it was a bit. We were away for a bit.
Yeah.
But so one of the days that I went back to paint it, like cops ran up on me and they were like, "You can't be out here." And I was like, "What?" I'm by myself at a wall. And they were like, "No, you can't." And I was like, "All right, whatever." So I put that on hold, you know. And again, like everybody's freaking out over COVID. Like we didn't know what that was, what was gonna happen. You know, it was weird. So I took a little bit of time off while we were quarantining. Came back to it like as soon as they like opened back up. I went and started the piece, bro. And I started going through like crazy pains while like. And like, man, like I have a really high pain tolerance. Like I fall asleep getting tattooed. Like I've broken bones. Wow. And like I'm like, oh no, it's just like sprained or whatever, you know. And like I write it out, and then I'm like, damn, I fucking have a broken bone. So I started feeling these crazy like back pains, like weird pains, and whatever. I wrote it out, you know. I remember my dad would like show up, and I'd be like laying down on the floor, like he was like, yo, what's wrong with you? I was like, oh, I'm just resting. My like back hurts, whatever. I don't know what's going on. And he was like, yo, like you never complain about shit, like well, you should let's go to the doctor. And I was like, whatever this is, like I know I'm gonna be out for a little bit, you know, out of commission, because I knew it was bad shit. So I was like, I'd rather finish the piece. Once it's done, I'll go whatever. So I finished the piece, bro, battled through like the bullshit, and following, I think the same day, like after it finished, I was like, oh fuck, let's go to the ER. And they ended up diagnosing me with like cancer. So, you know, they had to get I had like lymphatic cancer or whatever. So as soon as I finished that piece, which was crazy, it was like blood, sweat, and tears. With the UD thing, and kind of like paying homage to like, you know, the struggle that you got to go through to like kind of succeed, and you know, not success isn't pretty. Whatever. I ended up going through like my own battle. You know, I went through like 3 rounds of chemo, like yo, I was fucked up.
Art imitates life.
It was the beautiful thing with that no, it wasn't a beautiful thing, but I try to like bring the positive out of like every negative thing, is that it happened during the pandemic. So like, and like
it's not like you had anywhere to go, you know?
Yeah. And like yo, like straight up, like, you know, like I'm not a materialistic person or none of that, but like I'm a vain motherfucker, dog. So like I didn't want people to like see me with no hair, like none of that shit, you know. So like the cool thing about it was that since everybody was away, Like it wasn't like anybody saw me or anybody was missed, because everybody was like just
You
pretty
dealt
much
with
locked
it.
away.
It was more of
A personal.
you dealt with it in a personal manner where you didn't have to worry about.
Dog, I didn't tell
people seeing you
nobody
or
I went
anything.
through that shit. Like
Yeah.
I spoke about it after, because I just felt like when I was going through my shit, I was like, damn, I don't know who to talk to about this, you know? So when I spoke about it, it was like, yo, maybe there's other people going through this shit, and like maybe they could kind of like relate and see that I got out of it or whatever. But while I was going through that, I didn't talk to nobody about that. Like I was me by myself, my family dealt with it, and that was it. The other dope shit is, like I said, yo, like I'm vain as fuck, which sucks, but whatever. What was cool is that like we had to like wear masks during a pandemic. So like as soon as, bro, it was weird, because as soon as like I got, you know, thank God, like, you know, I like beat the thing. I ended up getting a phone call the same like week for a project, and it was like a good check, you know, and I hadn't worked in like in a few, like probably, I was probably out of commission for like 6 months. I was like, fuck it, let's go do this shit, you know. So I went, I did the project, and like I said, since we were going through the pandemic, like I was able to wear a mask, so like nobody saw me without a beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like I was able to like pull shit off till my beard grew back. Like it worked out.
Yo,
I have to commend you for that, though, because I know that that's something super personal to go through, and something that you've battled, and you've been one of the lucky people to actually overcome that. But I think that that also puts a lot of things in perspective, not just for yourself personally and for your family members, but also through your art. Like you said, I think that that provides a lot of hope for other people, because during that time maybe you felt sort of alone and you were isolated, but there's so many people in the world going through that right now, that it's great to hear a story of triumph, you know. So thank you for sharing that with us and with our audience.
Yeah, that especially, that's such a personal thing, man. So kudos to you for getting through it and
No,
being
man,
able to
shout
talk
out to
about
the
it.
doctors, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, and my family, like, it's fucking,
It's not easy.
yeah, it just sucked, but fuck it, yo, we're here, man.
And, you know what bugs me out about that is that you're painting. You choose it, during our other interview. You were talking about how you choose images for. You don't choose just any image for your work. You know, you choose something that means something, and the image you chose for Udonis was like a playoff version, the finals. Udonis Haslam, which is giving it your all. You know, he's sweating. Like you said, it's all about details in your work too, right?
Right.
So to be able to just say that, man, you're painting someone at their peak struggle,
Right.
to be able to get through it, because winning's not pretty.
Right.
Like you said, being a champion is not a pretty thing, but you know, then you go through it and you came across everything, you dealt with it. It's commendable, man. So I'm glad you're here with us.
Thank you, brother. Likewise.
Definitely glad you're here with us.
Thank
You know. Tell us about the other pieces, man. Like you have a Pitbull piece, a Trick Daddy piece, Khaled piece, a Manolo piece.
Soon a Struck and Dre piece.
we can get it. We can do it.
So let's start backwards.
Yo, the Manolo piece, I fuck with that one, man.
That was bugged out.
Plus, that homie's cool as fuck, man.
That was bugged out. Like, so how, you know, what was the inspiration for all these? Were they all commissioned? Was it just you having fun with it?
The Manolo piece was commissioned, but it wasn't. So that's the shit, man. Like I said, bro, I'm blessed to be in a position where like I have a lot of freedom in what I do, and like money's not the motive. You get me? So like a lot of projects I get, like I'm blessed to be able to pick and choose what I want to do. So with the Manolo piece, it was just like, yo, we want you to like do this wall. We have this budget. You can do whatever you want. No bullshit. That one, he was like, I want to do some Scarface shit. Like, let's do Tony Montana. And I was like, dog, like fucking Al Pacino. Al Pacino's dope, man, but he's not from Miami, bro. Fuck that. Let's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's do Manolo, bro. Like, he's from Miami, you know. And he was like, fuck it, do whatever you want, you know. I was like, all right, let's run with it. And then like that's how that one came across.
Manolito.
You know? Manolo. Not just that, yo, that homie's mad cool, dog. Like him and like his homie Angelo, those are like great people, bro. Like,
that is dope. I mean, I saw it. I was like, no way, that's Manolo.
Yeah.
That's bugged out, man. That's really bugged out. What about the other pieces and those style that you have, that style, man? Like you have your DISEM behind everything. Right. I dig it, man. So you know, when you choose these people, how did this go down? How did these murals happen?
So kind of like retract to what you mentioned about like the DISEMs behind everything. And I don't know if this is something that like graffiti guys struggle with or whatever, but I struggled with it as like, you know, like I have like a fine art background and I do graffiti too. And it's like a weird like circle because like my like I said, bro, I put in like a decent amount of street work, like illegal shit. Way back in the days, you know, statute of limitations, all
Not
that shit.
anymore,
I'm
guys.
good, bro.
Statute of limitations. Statute of limitations.
Good on that. So, like the homies that were putting in the street were like, nah, bro, you're like with your artsy bullshit, you know, and like, and then like my like fine art homies were like, oh, you're with your vandal bullshit, you know, like yo, I was stuck somewhere in the middle, and like, and I wanted like, yo, the ultimate goal is to do what you want to do for a living, you know, like, so I started trying to like. I wanted to have a career in art, but like I also wanted to do street shit, you know.
Keep your street credibility, huh?
Right? You've been working on it this long.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, fuck the credibility. It's just the fun. You got me? Like yo, like it was therapeutic, bro. Like yo, you're going through some bullshit, like, and again, like the pretty work. Like yo, it takes a toll on you to be at a wall for like hours and like days in the sun and the Miami heat, bro. Like it's fucking work. Sometimes you just want to go like fuck shit up and like, you know what I'm saying? So it was therapeutic, man. So I started like, I felt like I was divided into two different people. Like I would sign like my fine art shit with like my real name, you know, like I mean my like government name or whatever, you know. And then like my street shit was my street shit, like the graffiti, you know, it was the DISEM. And I just felt like I had two identities, bro. It was fucking weird. Yeah. And I was like, fuck that. Like, if these two things coexist with me, like, why can't they coexist with each other, you know? So that's when I started doing, like what I paint in the backgrounds, that pattern, like, that's like, if you know about graffiti, it's a throw-up. Yeah. So, like, that's what, like, my throw-up, which is, like, what I did on the street. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it, you know? Like, my, like, writer homies don't like this fucking, like, artsy shit and, like, and vice versa.
But too bad, they're gonna get it all.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, fuck it, bro. We're making these two things coexist on like walls, you got me? And like people are gonna have to learn to like appreciate both things together or not, or fucking hate it all, bro. Like
el que no te trague que se ahogue, ¿verdad?
Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it. Like, and that's why I started doing the backgrounds like that. And like, I mean, it was also like a conscious thing where like I was like on some like branding shit, bro. You gotta like, that's what graffiti is, bro. Yo, you got a team with like dope writers together, bro. They're the illest marketing team ever.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Wherever, whenever, however. So
and it's gonna make you look.
Yeah, and you gotta look. Like you can't look away from the shit. Exactly. Like when we were doing street shit, like that was the shit. Like yo, we're doing spots where you can't look away. Like there's no other way for you to look. You got me? Like we gotta paint billboards, we're fucking painting billboards. We gotta paint green signs, we're painting green signs. We're painting whatever the fuck gets your attention. You know?
Nowhere is safe.
Yeah. So like the whole like throw up shit was also like in the background it was like a marketing thing. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, yo, like you're just gonna see so much of it that it's gonna be imprinted in your brain.
You're gonna know who that is if you don't, if you don't know who that is.
Yeah. So and little by little, like I've like that's not all I do, you know. So I've tried to like evolve that into other things, you know, like the flamingo mural I got out here.
Okay.
Which is dope.
Yes. Thank you. With the chains.
Where can people find that, by the way?
Oh, that's I don't know the exact address, but the name of the place is called Survival Miami. It's the downtown location.
Okay. It's not
it's a clothing store. Like
okay, I was gonna say you walk in and you're scarred. You have to survive to get out.
No, yeah. That one was a dope one too because I got full creative freedom on that one. But if you look at that one, like that one doesn't have like my throw ups in the background, but that has like tags all over it, like just like graffiti tags, you know. And it's the same shit. Like, yo, these two things coexist, bro. And you might think that a tag is ugly or whatever, but there's like mad style that goes into that, and the people that like know how to do it, like, there's an art style to it. So fuck it, we're painting street shit with pretty shit, and it all coexists. And
it's gonna work.
We'll make it work.
I mean, I've seen you on, I think it's on like 27th Ave. There's like a smoke shop or like a food stop or something there.
Primo Smoke Shop.
You have that. Then you have, you know, on 8th Street and like 20-something, another smoke shop with another mural there.
That's where the weight is.
That's where the weight and the Kimani are there. that was another one. Like, it's funny, I met like one of the Marleys at Two Nights studio.
Okay.
That I was telling you I went to like to paint it.
Yeah.
I met one of the Marleys there, and he was like, Two Nights was like, yo, DISEM did a portrait of Kimani. He was like, oh, can I see it? And he was like, what made he do that? I was like, bro, they asked me for a Bob Marley portrait. I was a commissioned Bob Marley portrait, and I was like I said, I try to stay away from shit
But that came
like,
from Miami.
yeah, that's what it was. It was like, yo, like,
Listen,
you know, like
Kimani's from Miami.
back to the Al Pacino shit. Like, yo, why are we gonna paint Al Pacino and Manolos from Miami? Why are we gonna paint Bob Marley? Everybody paints Bob Marley, and I love Bob Marley. Like, all respect to Bob Marley. But Kimani's from Miami, so fuck it, let's do Kimani. You get me? Like,
yeah,
it's like
I know it.
that's so yeah, that's the Kimani one. Then we got the Gloria on A Street.
That was super dope.
That one was very impactful,
like that one.
especially for anybody from my era. That's what we grew up on, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And why'd you choose that picture? You were telling us earlier that it's all about details.
Yeah, so like a lot of portrait artists, I've realized they like. I mean, it's weird because like, and I was telling somebody this shit the other day that like certain things you try to like keep to yourself because you're like, yo, I don't want everybody to jump on the train. You got me?
Yeah.
But then it's like, yo, if you're secure with what you're doing, you're gonna keep evolving, and it's cool to put the information out there because other people could like, you know what I'm saying, like pick up from it. So fuck it, you know. A lot of portrait artists, like, I don't consider myself a portrait artist. Like, I paint portraits, but I do all sorts of shit. They go on Google, they find the most like common fucking image, you know, and like everybody paints the Bob Marley, the Marilyn Monroe, the fucking Elvis, the Tupac, the Biggie. It's like all the same shit. Like I stay away from that, you know. Like I do research, like I go to the library, go through books. I try to find fucking like dope references that like really aren't out there like that.
Give me an exclusive. You have an idea what you're gonna be painting next? Tell me.
You just jumped over everything. Like
let's do the Gloria story. We'll run into that.
After Gloria.
So the Gloria and Emilio. First, I got commissioned to paint like a Gloria.
Okay.
And the homie
Just
Walter
her. Just Gloria.
It was from K Cole Foundation and Calle Ocho. They try to like promote the arts or whatever. So they hit me up. They were like, "Yo, I want you to do a Gloria," and I was like, "Bro, like, there's no way I'm gonna do Gloria without Emilio." You know what I'm saying?
There
like,
is no Gloria without Emilio.
I was like, yo,
sorry,
I got
Gloria.
like. So I was like, oh, I got to do Emilio too, and they were like, yo, do whatever you want, bro. Just as long as Gloria's there, like, what? I was like, all right, dope. So I started like doing research, and man, when I found that picture, again, like, I don't like to paint people at their like pinnacle. I like to paint people like images that are relatable, that will inspire, or whatever. So I looked for like a real young picture, like the old Miami Sound Machine days, and I found that one. And my bad. I thought it was a dope picture, man. Just to like that one, it had like that heavy Miami vibe, you know, where like, yo, they just look mad Miami and shit. And then I saw like Emilio's shirt kind of like wrinkled, you know, and like you could tell like that was on their way up. It wasn't like at the pinnacle of their careers. And to me, that's inspiring because, you know, when people see success, they always see like the top of it, you know, like fuck that, bro. Like
they don't think there's
the work, you know, like like we, you know. So to me, like that shit's inspiring. So like I ran with that image, and like I told you earlier in the radio thing, like people were like, yo, but why is this suit so wrinkly? And I was like, yo, because that's what makes it, bro. Like he didn't have a guy to come iron out his little wrinkles on his shirt while they were doing the shoot. Like
no assistance.
Yeah, like he probably showed up with that shit in his car, like, you know what I'm saying? Like did the shoot, and like that's how it went.
No time to stop. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, so that was a dope one, like that. And yo, and Emilio and Gloria were fucking like cool as fuck too, man. Like
that's right, because you got to meet them and everything.
Yeah, and like it was, you know, it was weird that like I'm a shy person, so like certain like I hate cameras. Microphones make me mad nervous. It's weird.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
We got we've been putting mics in your face.
It's so weird because like I don't know why microphones make me more nervous than like cameras. It's fucking weird, but whatever. Yeah. So and like I said, bro, like you gotta like deal with the shit that you know everybody comes along with the shit, you know. Like I don't have a boss, so I gotta deal with microphones. Fuck it, you know. Like it's all good. It's part of work. And not to say that I'm not enjoying this. It's fucking dope. I'm having a great time. You got me? But I'm just saying, like, microphones make me nervous. So damn, where was I? I'm scatterbrained.
We were talking about Gloria.
Oh, so when I got to meet them, yo, they were like super cool. I felt like I like met like una tia y un tío, bro. They were like mad, like embracing, cool as fuck. Like, you know, they were great fucking people, man. It was dope, you know.
Good.
A lot of times you meet people like that and they're very like, oh, let's take a picture, like whatever, you know. Like that wasn't the case at all. They were just like very embracing, very like appreciative,
and interested in what you were doing and your story.
Yeah, they were cool as fuck, man. Like,
it wasn't just a photo op.
Yeah. And I don't like pictures, bro. It's just not uncomfortable to me, bro. Like, you know, I took a picture with them just for like I didn't even ask for the picture. It was like my homeboy that was like, yo, can I take a picture? Cause you know, and we took a picture together. I posted that shit like on my Instagram because I was hyped. I was like, "Damn, it's dope," you know, like, yo, it's a million Gloria. And I took that shit down maybe like three weeks later. Like I didn't delete it, like, you know how you are.
You just took it down.
Yeah, I took it down because like, I don't know, pictures are weird, bro. And back to like,
prepárate, because you're gonna take a picture before you go.
No, but I'm very big on like I think you grow through discomfort, you know.
You do.
So I put myself in uncomfortable positions to like
to grow,
work through it, you know. So like did a radio show, I'm doing a podcast. It's like, yo, we building, you know what I'm saying? We moving forward.
Moving forward, bro.
Like yesterday, yo, it's hilarious. Like the other day, I got a message from a homie, Derek G.
Shout out Derek.
Yeah, shout out Derek G. That's the homie, man. He's fucking great people. So he was like, yo, DISEM, have you ever modeled? And I was like, what? Like, what? He was like, yo, I got a gig, dog. Like, would you be down? I was like, fuck it, let's do it. You got me? Like, I don't got shit to do. So yesterday, fucking, like, I did a photo shoot with him. Super fucking awkward. Like, you ever seen like Talladega Nights when they like interview Ricky Bobby? He's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, that's how I felt, bro. I was like, yo, what I do? He's like, yo, shut up, bro. Like, if I don't tell you nothing, you're doing it right. I was like, all right, fuck it, you know.
Derek's dope, man.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome.
He's magic with that camera.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of that. I was like, damn, dog, I look like a model. What the fuck?
So I do
model. But yeah, I just put myself in like uncomfortable positions to like yo, anything that makes you uncomfortable is a fucking limit. You're sitting on you're limiting yourself. I think we limit ourselves the most. So fuck it, like put yourself in uncomfortable positions to fucking outgrow this shit.
That's the way to do it, man. Think, you know, shoot, every time we interview someone, they're not really too comfortable with the camera. With the camera, they're like, bro, really? I got this thing's recording me, especially with the radio. So we definitely get it, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's the truth. Put yourself in an uncomfortable position to be able to grow out of it, or go through it, you know. Yeah. So back to what Drea said. I had asked, you got what are you working on next that no one knows about?
Man, I don't know that no one knows about.
I'm
gonna say some weird, like, it's weird, bro, because like it's I have like, again, like, I consider myself a creative, like, all around. I have like weird fucking music in my head that I'm like, yo, like, I don't know how to like make music or nothing, you know. And we spoke about it earlier too. So I don't know how to play any instruments or none of that shit, but like certain things just make sense in my brain.
Do you rap?
No, hell no. That's the last thing I would want to be as a rapper.
You don't want to try to rap?
No, never. I would never
drop a few bars. My name's DISEM.
You know, and that's crazy to me, because I see rappers and everybody's like, everybody wants to be a rapper, and I'm like, oh, like,
you don't want to be a rapper.
You're on a stage in front of all these fucking people, like why
are you doing that?
Yeah, bro, like, nah, I don't do that shit. That's a nightmare.
Especially the first thing you said when you got here, you were like, yo, I'm an introvert. Like, I ain't trying to get in front of people's cameras and shit.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't consider myself an introvert. I think I'm pretty social. But I just don't
like the limelight.
Yeah, like I could do without the attention. Like, but I'm a social person. I just like if I'm in a social setting, bro, I like people. We can have like a conversation, but just standing like in front of people with like all the attention on me, like that shit's weird. You know what I mean? It's not.
You're not in the spotlight. You're not the spotlight person.
Yeah, I would hate to be a public speaker, so I'll probably fucking do that shit at some point to make myself uncomfortable.
Yo, you never know.
Speech.
You could use this podcast as a reference.
So doing a musical project, which like I don't know when the fuck that shit's gonna like materialize. Like I've already started working on it, but it's more like on my side it would be more like creative directing, where I'm working with like a few producers, a few like artists, you know, and like I'm just trying to like
coming out with them DISEM tracks.
Yeah.
Diss tracks left and right.
No, it's all love. No dissing.
Start being like, this guy that writes this and that, you're next.
So yeah, that's a project that's like on the low, that fuck it, exclusive.
Okay. There you go. Now that we're talking about special projects, we kind of touched on it off the air, but on your Instagram, you post a lot of, well, you've been, not a lot, but you post glimpses of like digital projects you're getting involved in. And we were talking about, you know, virtual reality. We're talking about AR and just these different realities in general. Right. Tell me a little bit about that.
So again, during the pandemic, I did a project, man. Like it was, I do like, you know, the throw-ups I do, like the little on the clouds.
Yeah.
I started flipping those and turning them into like characters, you know. So like I did a Hello Kitty one, I did like a Slimer, like just like childhood shit. Like a lot of my work is very like serious, you know, and I just wanted to do like fun shit, yeah, like lighthearted. So when I did that whole series, man, I was like really digging them, and I was like, fuck it, so I'm gonna paint these like in different spots. And then I started like I rarely like do like that the digital shit, you know. So, but that project started, like, usually it'll start on paper and then I go to digital. Like, it started backwards. Like, I went digital and then I went to, like, you know, towards the, like, physical.
Got it.
And then that got me thinking, like, about, like, the whole, like, like, virtual thing, you know? So I hooked up with his homie Charles. He does, like, 3D scanning and that kind of stuff. And I got him to, like, every single one of those that I painted, I would get him to, like, go to the location, like, 3D scan the things.
Nice.
And the whole thing behind that is that, like, you know, we post these pictures and, like, you're like, all right, cool. It's fucking weird, bro, because, like most things get viewed through, like, a small ass screen now. Like, most people don't walk up to the things. So it's the same shit if I fucking, like, paint on a paper or I paint on a fucking 20-foot building, you know, or
it's the same size.
People still see it the same size. It's fucking weird. So what I started thinking was, like, what's dope to me, I'm very private with my canvas work. Like, I sit at home, I don't like people around me, like, quiet. Oh, not quiet, I turn on the TV because, like, I'm ADD.
It's your own space. Yeah, you're focused in your own space for it.
And with murals, it's completely different. Like, I enjoy the interaction with people. I, like, you know,
you're outside.
I'm outside, right? Yeah, and all that shit, like, change, like, it has an impact or an influence of what I'm painting. Like, yo, I've had people pass by and they were like, oh, you should add this shit on it, and, like, they say it fucking around, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna add that shit on it. You know? Or, like, you get, like, it's funny, you get the same stupid jokes all the time. It's like, hey, like, can I help you? And I'm like, fuck it, come help me. Like, go paint, bro. And, like, people, like, don't think you're gonna tell them you can, and they're like, they don't know what to do with a spray can, and I'm like, do whatever the fuck you want, like, do it, you know.
I'm gonna buff you out after anyway.
Nah, and it's like people can't, like, as far as, like, my art, like, it's weird with my, like, canvas shit. I'm very like, yo, don't touch it, like, that's my shit. Like, I'm very, but I think with murals, like, graffiti allowed me to, like, be very detached from it. Like, shit is very temporary with, like, graffiti, you know. Like,
yeah, you just put it there, and if it rides, it rides.
Yeah, and, like, I might paint, and again, like what I was saying earlier with the DISEM shit, like, I was painting really cool shit illegally. Nah, I mean, to my standards, not to sound arrogant, but, like, where spots where, like, people would fucking, like, do like some shit without filling it in, I would go and do some shit, like, all out, filled in, 3 colors, you know. Even on, like, on the fucking highway shit, like, you know, people go up there, like, do, like, quick shit. Like, I would fucking sit up there, fill in the whole thing, like, oh my God, fucking 3-4 colors. Yeah,
crazy, bro.
Like, it was just like, fuck, you know, on some, like, yo, we're going all out.
Just pick a chrome and go.
we were doing, like, pink blends or fucking, like, black outlines, teal out, like, you know what I'm saying? We were getting into it, inside trims, outside trims. It was like, yo, we're out here.
Yo, you serious? That's dangerous though, bro. It's one thing to do it normal street shit, but you in the highway, Pablo.
I'll show you some shit after the interview. I'll show you some shit. But it was like you learn to detach yourself from it because you know it's temporary. So with the murals, it's like it was very like I'm not so attached to it, so like I don't mind people like having their input, and it's fun to me, you know, like fuck it, yo, you want to go do some shit. I remember as a kid, like one of the first times I painted, it was a homie that was like this homie oil, he was like, I wanted to paint. My cousin didn't like want me to fucking paint because I was a fucking kid, like running around. I remember like exactly how it happened. He was like, yo, here's a can, dog, write on whatever the fuck you want, you got me. And like, and I'm sure I fucked somebody's shit up, but
but it felt good.
Yeah. You know,
it
like,
felt good, damn it.
It was cool, man. Like it was so yeah, like just him like letting me like write on some shit, you know, like maybe like when people come by and they're like, I'm like, here, bro, like do whatever you want on it, fuck it, you know, maybe that'll inspire somebody to go like grow and do some other shit, you know, and fuck it.
So you took that experience of the actual live and being there and doing things.
Oh my bad, I segued like a motherfucker there. My bad.
No, it's cool. No, it's cool. You curse your life away.
no, I said like I segued from the conversation.
Oh no, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
No, but I thought you were bringing it back. That's why I just triggered, because it all makes sense, right? And that experience, going back to the whole digital thing, being there, like you said, when you're doing canvas work, you're private.
Right.
When you're doing mural work, you're up in the air. You're public. It doesn't matter. Hey, come in, join me, right?
But now you're adding another element.
Now with this digital element,
and that's what I wanted people to feel with this whole 3D scanning thing. Like I wanted people to like feel immersed into like where I'm at when I'm painting the things, because it's not just a flat like two-dimensional thing. Like yo, there's sounds, there's noises, there's conversations, there's shit that like that's in the space. So I was trying to like unite all these like different realms of reality, you know, like two-dimensional paper, the 3D, like I'm also doing like 3D things of it, you know, like three-dimensional things, and then you got the virtual aspect, so where you could be immersed. Part of that project too is, I don't know if you've seen it, like it's like a video game like retro kind of thing. So the same like little character throw-ups. I linked up with another artist, and we made them like video games, like the images look like they're video games. You got me?
That's dope.
And then I linked up with my other dog with Lazaro Casanova. I don't know if you guys know Lazaro Casanova, fucking amazing music. You know, you guys should link up with him. He's fucking dope. I linked up with him, and he's doing like the audio to it. So it's like it's a pretty like, I wouldn't say complex, because again, like the initial part of it is very like lighthearted, you know, like, but
there's a lot of details.
There's a lot of like details, collaborations, like different aspects of it. So I want the whole shit to be like, I'm working towards doing like a show for it, like a solo show, and I want it to all be like this experience where you like you walk through different realms of reality. You got me? Like you got to experience different shit, but it's all the same, like.
It's your work. It's just like your own patch, your own ecosystem in a way, right?
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Like
DISEM
world.
Something like that. Thank you.
With that being said, what else does the future hold for DISEM? What are your plans for the near future?
Oh, I mean, those two plans, you know, like that one, the musical thing, just working more, having a good time doing it, you know, and hopefully just like giving back to people, you know.
You know, as an artist, we have, 2022 is a really crazy year, right? There was a lot of this NFT world that popped off, you know, talking about digital. Is that something you dove into?
Or will be diving into?
Yeah, so part of that project too is to like explore the NFT realm of it, you know. I know currently like it's probably a bad time to do anything with that because it's on the low side of things, you know.
But that might be the reason why it's probably the best time to do it.
Right, it's possible, yeah. I mean, but it's definitely something as part of that project that I'm gonna explore that whole thing. But I haven't done anything as of yet.
But it's not something you're gonna exclude. You'll jump in at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Because man, can you imagine just NFT DISEM NFTs floating around? Yeah, it'd be like slaps, bro.
Yeah, we're working, man.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Let me see. What else are you into, bro? What else is going on?
Man,
Like,
I'm into
there's
all
some-
sorts of shit, man. I mean, like,
So
I
you're-
think we've spoken about all sorts of shit right now, from the art to like fucking modeling. What the fuck?
Merchandise,
You know,
clothes.
it's funny because you say the modeling and then you say Derek G. I'm like, man, what are you, a Drake double?
Oh, man, that's terrible, dog. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. Yo, that's the worst. Yo, like, you know, and like, shout out to Khaled too, bro. But like, lately, like, so the Drake shit's been going on for like a long ass time, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and not for nothing, I've had fucking a beard and a hair, like the same haircut since I was like, I've had a beard for a long time. So I was like 15. So fucking, I've been around way before Drake. Like, yo, what the fuck? You know that, like, and I was happy because like I had my beard. So like, you know, I would still get the Drake comments here and there, but I was like,
Yeah.
when that motherfucker grew his beard out, I was like, oh fuck,
Damn
man,
it.
like what the fuck, bro, you know?
So Khaled told you something about looking like Drake?
Nah. So like, I've been mad self-conscious lately because I've gotten like, yo, like, you from time to time you get the yo, you know who you look like, and I'm always expecting like a Drake shit. Like a couple of times I've been like recently they're like, yo, you know who you look like? I'm like, who cat like. You look like Khaled. And I'm like, oh fuck, like, you know, like,
No, I look like
fuck?
Drake.
I'm like, yo, man, y'all fucked me up, man. The fuck? Shout out to Khaled, man. Nothing against him, but like, yo, like, let me just look like me, bro.
I mean,
Like,
shit, man.
Fuck.
But you know, there was
That's hysterical.
there's that guy that really he's made his brand is being the fake Drake.
I seen it. That shit.
Some dude, that same dude put out a diss song to Drake. Like, bro, what are you doing?
And Drake ruined his life, bro.
Then
He
Drake
doesn't
sent
like
him
attention
Drake
either.
sent him a cease and desist order
Seen it.
because he was building his brand off of him.
I seen it. I
That's
don't know, man.
bananas,
I think
bro.
that's kind of cheesy, bro. Like, no disrespect to that guy. You know what I'm saying? Get it how you get it. But how you gonna like build your identity? Like, how do you feel self-secure being another man? You got what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
That's a little
Like
weird.
you're building off someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just awkward.
little
super
weird.
awkward.
DISEM, you've been dropping so many gems and such wholehearted advice, but is there anything that you would like to add to anybody that's listening, not necessarily an artist, but anybody out there, whether it be professional or personal?
I think one thing that like I'm strong on is remaining productive, you know, being persistent and consistent, you know. Like, I think if you're persistent, you're consistent, and I mean, part of that is determined. Like, yo, you got the keys to success, bro. Like, you know, you fucking back to like what we're talking about, the 100 pieces. Like, if you do 100 pieces and like 10 suck, well, like, that's cool. It's 10%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same if you do 10 and one sucks, but like that one is gonna affect you so much fucking more because the quantity of work is so small. You know, so like, you can't be afraid of failing. Like, I don't believe in failure. Like, failure is fucking lessons. You know what I mean? Like I've done fucking like mad things and some of them pop, some don't. You know, and I've had people tell me, like close homies, be like, oh, you're an idiot for doing this shit. Like, why would you like do this, whatever? And if I let that shit affect me, like,
You're not gonna do it.
I wouldn't have done it. But if had I not done it, like, maybe it did suck and it didn't go nowhere. You got me? But at least I learned the lesson for like the next thing to like, all right, well, now I know next time I can't go about things this way or that way. Like, just move
And you
forward.
did it. At least you did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You knocked it out.
Right.
Someone else didn't like it. That's their problem.
No, and even if you like, yo, I've done shit like, I don't know if you knew, I did a mural festival in Panama. Did you know about that?
I've seen it on your page.
Yeah, so me and my homeboy Dreps did this, bro. We organized a mural festival in Panama. It was
Oh, you organized it.
We
I thought you were
organized
just part of it.
Nah, we put that shit together from every aspect, from like marketing, designing, logistics, getting the paint out there, getting sponsorships. We did the whole which was like, it's kind of stupid. Like, we didn't have a team to do this, you know.
Yeah, but it was pretty dope. That you
It
did
was
that.
fucking amazing. Like, you know, it's probably like one of my like biggest. That was a huge accomplishment for me. It, like, to be able to, like, a city that like gave me so much, go back. You know, like, my parents met out there, so to be able to like go back there
And through art. So
through art,
Yeah.
yeah. To, you know, and my uncle has an art university out there, so to like be able to like go out there and on my own, you know what I'm saying, with like my homeboy, be able to like bring in, we had a total, I think, of 30 artists from like all over the world. And shout out to like all the homies that went out, like the people that went out there, like fucking SK, Musa. I'm just shouting people out because yo, shout out to them, man.
Well,
like,
we're getting to that anyway. So.
Yeah, yo, SK, Musa, Henrik, the Modestos guys from Costa Rica, fucking Hoax. Like, bro, we had so many people come from all sorts of like parts of the world, you know, that they came out and like gave back to the city, you know, through what we put together. Like, it was we did 30 murals in a week, like 30 big fucking murals in a week, and with like all sorts of like, bro, like I'm a pretty polite person, and like it's really hard to like put me in to get me out of character. Like, it's really difficult to get me out of character. Like, I rarely raise my voice. Like, I'm a very chill person. And when I started going to like these government meetings, because it like we did it in Panama Viejo, like
you would have been
so
yeah, you would have been talking to a lot of people.
Not Panama Viejo, in Casco Viejo. You know Casco Viejo?
No, I'm not familiar.
Casco Viejo is like the old city that was built by like Spaniards or whatever. I mean, most of that shit was built by Spaniards. So a lot of the buildings are historic, like they're like national patrimony because they're old. So we had to get permits from the city to like be able
even
to
be on the premises or anything else.
to paint the buildings, like certain buildings, and like, you know, and bring these like these lifts. We had to bring these big ass lifts through like small like roads or whatever. And when we started out, they were giving us a hard time, man. And like bro, like when I started going to these meetings of like government shit, like I'm not like, I enjoy wearing suits and ties, but that's not my shit, you know. Like, and I really, so I was going to like these like city hall like things, you know, like dressed well, like sit down with like government officials or whatever, you know. Again, super uncomfortable for me. I don't like public speaking and shit, you know. And I was being super polite and whatever, you know, at these offices at first. Towards the end of it, bro, I was walking into these offices like
ripping off the tie.
Fuck that. Like, because we were already painting and they were still giving us a hard time as far as like doing the murals, you know. Like, they weren't like one of the murals, we didn't get the permit till like halfway through the week, and this artist had just flown in to like shout out to Aho Snitch Glue.
Oh yeah.
So that was a good homie of mine, and he went out there and he had one of the largest walls out there. They didn't want to give us permission for him to like do it. Like, they were giving us a really hard time, and they were like making us jump through like loopholes and shit. So it wasn't till he had been there like 3 days, couldn't paint shit. Like, you know, I had done everything the city wanted, and halfway through it, like I went to the office to try to like get the thing. At this point, and like when I say that we did everything for that festival, I mean we did fucking everything. Like, from bringing lunch to people, bringing ladders, like fucking did everything. Halfway through the week, I'm like painting, running around, like, because I was painting too, which is stupid. Like, I don't know why I committed to a mural while I'm doing all this shit.
You live and you learn, right?
Yeah, lesson, you know what I'm saying? So I was walking into like the government office, bro, at like in shorts and a tank top, sweaty as fuck, like straight up like cursing people out, bro. Like how am I here from another country? You get what I'm saying? Like, you guys are supposed to be the like promoting culture and all, like you're the office, the governmental office of culture, and you guys aren't like helping me out. So I like, bro, and my homeboy Drops, he was with me, and he like, it's really hard to get me out of character, and he's usually like the louder, more like vocal, bro. And I walked into the office and I was like, yo, you people are fucking incompetent as fuck. Like if I've been coming here for fucking months and you ask me for this and that, like, how come every time I show up you ask me for some other shit, you know? And bro, it wasn't until I did that shit that they were like, yo, sorry, like, here's the paper, which was another lesson. Like, sometimes
you gotta be aggressive.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that was like a project, man, that like fucking, bro, I lost friends through that shit, like, you know, like through like,
if you lost any friends, they weren't your friends to begin with, so
it's possible, yeah. You know, like I lost friends through that shit. Like, I think the majority, like, I got mad white hairs, you don't see them because I got a little fade and shit. Yo, I own a barbershop too, so anybody wants an ill fade, Southside Barbershop. Sorry, quick plug.
No, plug it.
Southside Barbershop.
Southside Barbershop.
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, did Was this festival a success? Was
It was-
able to knock that out?
From an outside perspective, it was, and even now, like in retrospect, it was 100% successful. Like, yo, we made a huge impact in that. Like, we did it. Like I said, we did it in Santana, and which is in Casco Viejo, and it's like it was kind of like a forgotten zone, you know. It was probably one of the most dangerous areas in Miami at the time. Like,
Panama.
and one of the most in Panama could be pretty bad. You know what I'm saying?
No, the fact you said Miami.
Oh yeah, Panama, my bad. Yeah, it was called Santana, and it was crazy because we didn't realize where we were, and it was just me, my dog Rhymex. Shout out to Rhymex too, he was out there, and Dreps at first, and we were walking around because some of the walls we had gotten, like, they didn't like end up giving us permission, so like some of them fell through, whatever. We ended up walking through the hood, and we walked into like this area, bro. Hood as fuck, like hood. Like, you know, like people out here watch like movies and they're like, oh, the hood in the U.S. is bad. Like, nah, like that ain't shit, bro.
Yeah, it's the hoods outside of the United States are a problem.
Yo, it was bad. And what was dope is that when, you know, you walk through these areas, like, one, you have no business in there. Like, there, you literally have no fucking business in there. So people look at you like, especially like,
doing here?
And like, oh, we look Miami as fuck. Like, you're not from there, you know. So when we walked in, like, they were like, oh, what's up? What y'all trying? We didn't realize it was like one of the like heaviest gang activity areas like in the country. Bro, the gangsters did more for us than the fucking government did.
Get out of
like,
here.
yo, they took care of us. They looked out for us like crazy. Like, they got kids to take care of us, where they were like, yo, anything they need, whatever, like, you guys go run and get it. Like, so one of the kids, his name was Abel, he ended up fucking helping us out like crazy. Like, he was there with us the whole time, like from morning till night, like trying to help paint, like trying to do whatever the fuck we needed. Through the art university, we're able to get him like a scholarship to fucking like go study. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
So that shit was so that whole experience was a fucking success, absolutely. But the fucking, like, bro, the work that like it took, like, yo, was internally it felt like a fucking failure. You got me? Like,
it doesn't sound like it was easy at all, bro. Especially if you have to go into the consulate and be like, dissing everybody. DISEM has struck.
DISEM
is dissing everybody.
That at that it got me out of character. That's just not normal for me, you know.
Yeah.
But again, like, it was a lesson learned from the beginning to the end. Now I know, like, and we're planning on doing like following that up. But not like we learned the lessons from the first one. You get what I'm saying? The second one will be way smoother. But that was a fucking crazy project that felt difficult. It felt like a failure initially. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've never called that, like, I far from considering that a failure, but it was a huge lesson, you know.
Shoot.
And bro, when we finished that shit, a lot of the homies were like, fuck, like, oh fuck, I just said my real name. Put that shit out. No, just block out the fuck, I said it twice. So that was one that felt like it felt bad, and a lot of the homies were like, you know, not upset. Like, a lot of, like I said, you know, I lost some friendships because of that. But in retrospect, everybody has, like, you know, they were like, yo, that it was a dope experience. It was dope. Like, we're thankful for the opportunity, and like, and fuck that, like, what we did in the community. Like I said, when we walked in there, like there, it felt like there was no like neighborhood pride. Like, there was like gang pride, you know, but like no, like I said, you walk through there, it was like, the fuck are you doing here? Like, we got no business here. Like, and it went from that to, like, as soon as we started painting those murals, like when Rhymex started painting the first mural, he did a Duran.
Oh, wow.
The kids started, like, there was like it was like a cement thing. It looked like there was a house there at some point, and it got knocked down. So it was like this,
just like a foundation almost.
Yeah, like a foundation. There was trash all over it. Like, it just looked like shit. As soon as Rhymex started painting, the kids themselves started picking up the whole thing, bro.
Wow.
Like, they ended up turning that little area into like a little like park area, you know, and it created such like neighborhood like pride that like they were welcoming people. When you walk through there now, like, nobody's like, what are you doing here?
Come to my hood. I know why you're
like,
here.
Yeah, you know. And like, yo, that's part of like the beautiful thing about that project. Like, that was probably like one of the dopest things, like, I think I've accomplished, which felt like a fucking failure from the get, you know. Like, it didn't feel like a failure. I knew it was successful, but internally it was like, fuck, bro, like
how is this
tough.
even coming
Yeah,
together?
yeah,
I mean, you can't fight off your own demons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's great that's an amazing impact that you made over there. Especially
Thank you, man.
those of y'all that never been to a hood outside of the United States. The hoods ain't playing, bro.
At all.
And they don't, they don't care where you from.
At all, bro.
The only thing they're worried about is what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know. So you mentioned you own a barbershop.
Right. Yeah.
Plug it in, bro.
So, yo, it's mad weird because I don't think I've ever plugged that shit in, but now I'm like, oh, we gotta do
Plug
that shit.
it.
Let's
Do
get
it. Do it.
So, yo, Southside Barbershop in the Grove is
Okay.
fucking amazing haircuts. You'll never see me with a fucked up haircut. That's where it's at.
That's
Shout
what's
out
up.
to all the guys that are out there too.
So is there an Instagram for Southside Barbershop?
Southside Barbershop.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
At Southside
Barbershop. Yeah.
It's Coconut Grove.
Yeah.
South Florida.
Yep.
So those of you in Miami, you already know.
Yep.
Now, DISEM, where do we find you, sir?
DISEM 305. DISEM 305. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, even though I don't dance. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you think the future of graph in Miami, especially with Art Basel and all these things, do you think graph stays normal, or does it keep evolving or go commercial, go pop?
I mean,
What's your
I think it's always evolving. Art is always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll keep evolving, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we go back, graffiti, it was like hieroglyphics, you know? People have
Facts.
been writing on walls for fucking ever. Like, it's something that does bother me is that, like, when we were painting murals, like, nobody, and this is me on some like I hate to be the angry artist, but we talked about it earlier.
We're the angry artists.
You have a safe space to vent now.
Yeah, no morning thoughts and shit.
Yeah, right.
So no, it's not about being like an angry artist. It's just when we started like painting these murals back in the days, like, you know what, initially when we did that at the Margulies warehouse, like with Aho and like all the guys in like SSK or whatever.
Shout out SSK.
Yeah.
So when we did that, the city had such a problem with us painting this big ass mural off I-95 that they started finding Margulies, the owner of the building, daily for having the mural up.
What?
So he would get like a $500 fine a day. He took that shit to court, and when he took it to court, he said it was part. So if you guys haven't been in the Margulies warehouse, it's a beautiful fucking collection. I believe it's the largest private contemporary art collection like in the world. I might be wrong, but I know it's fucking beautiful in there. And we had no idea what we were painting either. Like, you know what I'm saying? We were cool with his kid, like with his son. Shout out to that homie too. And he was like, yo, I got a wall. You guys want to paint? Whatever. And we were young as fuck. Like, I was a crazy undertaking. So when we finished that project, we had no idea what the building was inside. We had no idea like where it was. Mr. Margulies ended up going to court against the city, and is saying that was part of his like contemporary art collection, and he ended up winning the case.
What?
So if you drive down 95, you'll see the only spot that has trees planted on it is right across from that spot, because they were so like afraid of like the stigma that graffiti had, that it made it look like it was a fucked up area or whatever, you know. Since they couldn't buff it, they covered it with fucking trees. So if you drive down I-95, that's the only spot that's got trees in front of it.
That is messed up.
Yeah, man.
That is hella messed up.
So we went through these like struggles, you know what I'm saying, like as like writers, and I'm pretty sure that thanks to that mural is why like all the rest of the murals in all of Wynwood, like, you know what I'm saying, like they won that case, bro. So the city's they're not stupid. They're not gonna keep fighting, like, you know. And now Wynwood's fucking filled up with graffiti, you know. Part of what sucks about it, and this is to the angry artist shit, is that most people back in those days didn't give a fuck about painting murals. Like they would hate on it. Now there's this whole boom of like artists, which shout out to every artist that's getting it, you know, like, yo, produce, do whatever you want. But it sucks to see a lot of like the people that started doing this shit being overlooked by corporations, by the owners, and the people that are getting the jobs are like artists that never give a fuck about that shit. And it might be, I think a big part of it is because as graffiti like writers, we fucking kind of like hide away from shit, you know, and like people don't want that attention.
Mm.
But it's like those are the fucking pioneers of this shit. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about guys like way behind me that have been putting on work for the city and like, you know what I'm saying, been painting Wynwood and all that shit.
Yeah.
I think that those people gotta like be acknowledged, you know, and like they need a spotlight on them, because if it wasn't for them, like all this fucking like
homage,
pretty
you know?
Wynwood shit, like it wouldn't be happening. And it bothers me to see like so that's part of one part that bothers me. Second part that bothers me is a lot of like the artists that are painting these murals talking down on like the graffiti shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's
like,
that doesn't make sense.
It's like, yo, like I've seen this trend of like guys that have never done graffiti or none of that shit like write that like they're post graffiti-ism. Like, how the fuck are you post graffiti-ism if you weren't graffiti in the first place? And like, how the fuck are you like,
you ain't a real
like,
writer?
like,
Yeah.
it's not about being a.
You can't put yourself in that box. You can't put yourself in that realm if you haven't paid homage to it.
Right. And
You
no,
know?
and you can't say you advanced something without being about that something, you know? And
Exactly.
like, what the fuck is post graffiti? Like, there's whatever, there's fucking huge artists.
That's the first time I've heard that term.
yeah.
Post graffiti-ism.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And,
bro?
and there's a lot of artists that I do respect that work with that movement. You get what I'm saying? Like, that have been doing it since like the 80s and like whatever.
They're
that
graffiti artists,
right? Yeah, graffiti artists that kind of evolved into like post graffitiism or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the problem I have is that it's become like a trend to be like, yo, I'm post graffitiism. Like, I don't understand post graffitiism, because like I said, graffiti is always evolving.
Yeah.
So whether you either did graffiti and you're evolving it, you get me,
didn't.
or you didn't, and so how the fuck are you post graffitiism? You get me? Like,
Yeah.
It's whatever. Sorry,
hella pissed, bro.
angry artist rant over.
So
Are there any artists, especially from back in the day, that maybe you feel you've been either inspired or influenced, or that you have looked up to in your career?
Influenced, I would say, looked up to, not so like. That might be like the writer in me that's on some prideful shit, and I'm like, you inspire. But yeah, there's a lot of like artists and writers that definitely have influenced me, you know, like as far as like street shit, like the graffiti shit, you know. Growing up, a lot of like the Inkheads, you know, like Miami Inkheads.
shout out Inkheads.
Yeah, shout out to them. The STV homies with like the street shit, definitely. Damn Crew homies, you know, like they definitely like, yeah, shout out to Freak, that's the homie, man. Yeah. Yeah, you know, fucking a bunch of guys, fucking Freak, definitely, you know. Who else? Shit, I would say there's a lot of guys, you know, that put in, and it's dope, you know, because I remember growing up seeing these guys, like, you know what I'm saying, and like being like, damn dog, this is a dope wall, whatever, you know, and like now, like, they, you know, I consider them homies and peers, and like it's a fucking beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying, like to be able to like, at one point when you're younger, you see this shit and you're like, damn, you know, like those are the homies doing it, and now you're like, you're just doing it, like you're hanging side by side, and it's like nobody's getting outshined or nothing, like everybody's just, you know what I'm saying, it's dope.
We all working, we all eating.
Oh, yeah.
And the beautiful thing too is to be able to like build, you know, like to give, like I've been blessed to be put in a position where like now I could like put like my homeboys in positions to get it, you got what I'm saying?
Of course.
And that's fucking dope too, because again, like I've been inspired, motivated by a lot of fucking guys that I feel are like overlooked because of bullshit, because they're not on TikTok dancing, you got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
facts.
to be able to put them on is dope.
And that's great, because that goes against the stigma that a lot of people have about Miami and just having that, you know, crab in the bucket mentality.
Yeah.
You're stepping it up, and you're also bringing people along with you. So that's definitely something to be happy about and to be proud of. And we definitely admire and we appreciate.
Thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. You have so you know, we went over the angry artist. So what makes artists happy?
I don't know what makes artists happy, like, because every artist is an individual, you know. So like what makes me happy might not make somebody else happy, you know.
Artistically, what makes you happy?
I wouldn't even like art could be frustrating as fuck, man. Now what makes me happy, I just, you know, like friends, family, you know, like part of like my, like, you know how I was talking about, like I do the morning thoughts from a bathtub from time to time and shit.
The Rev Run.
Yeah. I commented on that, like that I enjoy painting. Like I don't love painting. I enjoy it. Like I have a good time. What makes me happy is like finishing, like accomplishing a piece, like seeing that done. That makes me really happy. That makes me feel good. But it's like a weird drug. You get me? Because like that shit like runs out quick.
It's a rush, but then you're like, all right, I want more.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's it? Like, that wall looks hella sexy.
It's a short. And the more you do, like the shorter that like high gets. You get me?
Got it. Yeah.
So like I just fucking, like, we just finished that Dolphins wall. Like I feel super accomplished with that huge building. Did it in a week. Like
where's it at?
It's at the Margulies collection. It's like full circle, bro. Like that's the same, you know, the same building that we had done that the A-hole wall.
Okay.
So it's on the same spot. But I felt super accomplished. Did that with Center Drops, and fucking we felt great. We did it in a week. But 3 days in, I'm like, all right, what the fuck is next? You know? Yeah, like that's it. Like it's over. So
it's good though, man. Stay hungry.
Always, I mean, shit. I always quote Garcia when with shit like this, right? He said this once, and it stuck with me. You're only as good as your last project. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, you're only fulfilled as much as you were your last project, and it's on to the next one. Yep. You know what I mean? So being on to the next one, what's up next?
I don't know, man. We got Art Basel around the corner. Like, you know, right. Got a couple of projects for Basel. I literally just found out, like, I got put on a show with Wynwood Gallery, which is dope. That's from like through the Museum of Graffiti. Like I literally walked in here, I got a text message, I go on my email, and they're like, yo, we're part of this show. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's get it. So I'm doing that. I'm showing with Uva Gallery as well. Okay, that's a pretty dope project I got going with them. I'm doing a couple of group shows for like charity, you know. So damn, I suck with names, but I forgot the names. Like one of them is at Grills.
Okay.
It's a group show, and the profits from the sales of that are going to a nonprofit to like for cancer. And then the other group show, it's man, I can't believe I forgot her name.
Oh no.
It's with a designer that, man, she does these like really dope shoes. I'll post it on Instagram, so if I forget the name, you know what I'm saying, people will go on there and check it out. I'm doing a collaboration with her and like some heels, which like I'm stoked about that too.
You're not wearing these heels, right?
Nah. We just wear sneakers around here.
That's what's up. And then, you know, you mentioned your IG. Again, just for those that, you know, for everyone that just have it engraved in their heads, what's your IG so you can check out all your work?
DISEM 305. DISEM as in Miami 305.
All right. And do you have a website or anything like that, or just strictly your?
Man, my website got hacked, bro.
Really?
I don't know how it got hacked, but it got hacked, so it should be back up soon. You know,
okay.
DISEM305.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Word. Any shout outs?
Shout out to my family, to all the homies. They know who they are. You know, everybody in Miami doing shit, and that pretty much it. Everybody who supports me, it's fucking greatly appreciated.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
That's dope. Any shout outs, Dre?
No, just shout out to everybody in Miami. Shout out to DISEM. Thank you for sharing your time and your story with us here at 305 Radio.
That's what's up, man. And yeah, everyone listening to this, yo, this has been a hell of a interview. Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me, man. It's really appreciated, and thank you for like creating a dope vibe. Because like I said, bro, I'm mad uncomfortable around cameras and like microphones. So I really appreciate you guys having me, and like, you know what I'm saying, like making it a comfortable, interesting.
That's dope, man. I'm glad you feel that way. I've been, you know, following your work. I'm a big fan of your work, so it's a pleasure to have you on. our doors are open to you, man. So
Thank you,
if we come into Art Basel and you wanna get a round table, you wanna get a squad of people together, you wanna
Start
do
picking
another
your
thing,
wall around here if you
you
want.
let us know.
We can do it.
We're here. We can set something up here at the station for you. You pick a wall.
I'm definitely for it. Yo, we can do it.
Yeah, man.
The only thing is we gotta like cover everything up because overspray will go on everything.
That's
But
fine,
I got
bro.
y'all.
I
Yeah.
don't know where these things came from.
And-
It's okay.
And that actually sounds really interesting. It would be cool to like, yo, during Basel, we got a lot of like homies from all over the place out here. It would be cool to have like a round table sitting, you know what I'm saying, discussion for like everybody's
do it.
perspective and from different, from a professional perspective to like the vandal perspective. You got what I'm saying? It would be a dope conversation with like a lot of the people that come out here because every city's
We're
different.
professional vandals.
Yo, I like that.
We are professional vandals around here. Thank you very much. So, you know, now that you say that, yo, I think we've mentioned this a few times in a few shows, Dre. Like bringing round tables. I think we got to do this for Basel.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, a lot more
you
coming
let us
up.
know, man. You let us know.
Wait.
At Basel, we have the doors wide open. If we could set that up, bro, let's do it. Let's
Thank
do
you.
it.
I'm
We can
happy
set
to
it
help.
up.
Yeah.
We can set it up. We'll get some people involved and call it a day, bro. Hell yeah. So I guess we're done for this one, right?
Yeah.
Shit. DISEM.
Thank you,
Great
brother.
interview, brother. Shit, it's fucking badass. Especially here in Miami, you're gonna see DISEM's work all over the place, no matter what part of the city you're at, and more so, you're gonna see a lot of the homies. You mentioned Too Nice, 2NYC, and Ulysses. So shout out to them with
shout out to them.
History Makers. Don't Blink podcast. Everyone that's listening to this podcast, Que Sopa, Panama, and everyone in everyone that's listening to us.
305 and worldwide.
Yo, we got a few listeners in India and Switzerland, Colombia. Shout out to y'all for listening. You can find us on all streaming platforms. Follow us on IG at 305 Radio, at 305 Magazine. You can follow me at Struck 305 Brownie.
You can find me at 305_Brownie.
I'm here calling her Brownie, right? And this one more time for your IG.
At DISEM 305.
Thank you very much for listening. Peace.